There's a lot going on in the film, some cool stuff also, but at the end of the day, not enough. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and today we're talking about the latest Malayalam film which came out on Sony Live, Salute, and the film is available in 5 languages, directed by Rosshan Andrrews, written by Bobby-Sanjay, starring in the lead Dulquer Salmaan. I don't know how many of you know that, but my first ever Malayalam film was DQ's called Solo. It was a long time back. Now, if you haven't seen the film, in non-spoil, I would say if you're a DQ fan, you can watch it. If you have enjoyed Rosshan Andrrews films before, you can watch it. If you like the writing of Bobby-Sanjay, you can watch it. And I would say as an investigation thriller, the film keeps you hooked. But that was not enough for me to have a great experience watching it. I felt the screenplay was not tight enough to make it a really immersive experience. To talk about it further, I want to get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it on Sony Live and come back. Now first, let's start with the things I liked. Dulquer Salmaan as the police inspector. Whenever he was in the uniform with that mustache, he had this different aura and attitude, and he was actually arrogant, and I liked that trait in him. But sadly in the film, it's not intact throughout. Now with the plot, this policeman did something wrong, they framed someone, and later in the film it's haunting them back, and I like that they showed that guilt is coming over. They are scared, they're looking over their shoulders, and they'll keep doing that until things get resolved or they die, and one of them really passes away. So that aspect was really good. The whole plot of identity theft and how deep that goes. There are so many cases like this, and I'm sure it is somewhere inspired from real events. Not the investigation part, but the cases like this. I love the fact that by the end we never see the culprit. It was so refreshing and I love that idea. And honestly, the way the film was set up, you didn't need that at all. And I like that they stick to it. Because it's very easy to give in and have a villain, have a face against the hero. So it becomes easy to tell the story. It becomes easy for the audience to connect to the hero. But when you don't have a face or a villain who you can see on screen, it becomes really interesting. And then it depends on the writing if you can make the audience care about it or not. Now the film is really well shot. There's a lot of traveling and going from one place to another, and to keep you invested in that, it's very important. Now coming to the issues in the film. The first one was acting, and mostly with the side characters. It was really average. There were so many side characters where dialogues were so bad, and even when DQ is sharing a scene with them, it just doesn't look good. Even his performance is getting affected. There are moments you can tell that the film was impacted by COVID. I could easily notice that there were some dubbing done in different scenes. And when these things become so obvious, they become like sore thumb and you cannot avoid it. Now I felt that the world and the characters was very one tone. And a lot of that has to depend on the editing, which I was not a big fan of. Throughout the movie, I was really confused about how the time is passing. I was really clueless where the characters are, when they're traveling to some other place, where are they right now? The characters were in a very different locations, and the next scene they're together. Then again, they are very far apart. It was really confusing. Maybe I didn't know the geography of the place. That was the reason, but you can tell me that in the comments. And I was not really a big fan of, that non-linear editing in the first 30 minutes. First, we see him in the present, going to the police station, then cut back to, 2 years, what was happened, what was the case. Then we see him take 2 years sabbatical, then he comes back, and then we are, back on track. From there, the film became better. But before that, all those editing choices, it didn't work for me. And again, there was no setup. It felt like the film is just rushing away, In the start, we see them talking about the case. Cut to the case. What was it? DQ is planting some weapon, and then he's, not sure what he's doing. We understand they're framing this guy, but later they found out there is a real culprit, and then DQ has to leave, All of that was very, it felt shallow. And then he leaves, and 2 years later he's back, and there's nothing else for these characters to do in their life. And that's why I said they felt very one tone. And you can have films with no setup and the film just starts running from the get-go. But in those films, the time frame is very small, 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month. It's very limited. But here the story is in a span of more than 2 years. And because the film was rushing, there were many points where they were putting a lot of exposition within one dialogue. Just take the scene after 2 years when DQ is in that showroom shopping with the ladies, and there he spots Murli's sister. And in that point, she only gets one dialogue, and within that dialogue, she tells everything, that what she is doing there, what happened to her, what's the future, why DQ should feel guilty, everything within one dialogue, and then she goes away. We never see her again, And there were a lot of dialogues like this throughout the film, and some of them were really cringe also. And that tells you, they didn't spend enough time on setting up things, and now they have to rush. They cannot wait. And because of all these things, right, there was a disconnect from one scene to the other. Something is happening in one scene, cut to the next scene, and suddenly I'm like, wait, Am I watching the same movie? Is it the same world? All of this was really inconsistent. I felt the focus in the film was stumbling. All that family stuff really didn't add much. I like that fact that both of them are brothers and that really brings a conflict into it. But the whole extended family didn't really add anything to it, you know. All those scenes actually just dragged the film. And Diana Penty's character, like, you know, she didn't really have much to do. She was just there to support DQ's character, that's it. Make him realize what he wants to do and what he doesn't. And even in that respect, the writing was not that good. Coming to the BGM, I was not a big fan of it. It actually feels very alienating. The music doesn't feel right for this film. You know, when there are these hero moments where the music just soars. Just look at the beginning scene. When he goes into the police station and he says he was the ex-SI. And suddenly the music soars. Oh, this is the epic moment. Notice. Then he goes to this shop and when the shop owner recognizes him, again that music happens. And those kind of things just throws me off. And then there are some hero scenes for DQ to beat up some people. At a lot of places, there are very convenient things. He can just leave the police force at any time and then come back anytime. No questions asked. No inquiries, nothing. And these things matter in this film because the film is about a police investigation. You are being so grounded about how things work and then suddenly, you know, anything can happen because he's the hero. That just breaks the immersion. And because of all of these things, the film couldn't maintain the mood, which was very important for this investigation thriller. Now, as I said before, the climax was really cool, but then again, it became a little emotional with the brothers. I didn't buy that. And then that last scene, it made no sense. Why? Why would you do that? The whole story is over and suddenly, oh, there was a letter. And then there's a dialogue by DQ, it doesn't matter. You know, then what's the point of that scene? Like either you set that up before, so at the end that makes sense. But for that, then you have to bring in the villain, you have to show him. And that's what you didn't want to do. Then what's the point of bringing up that letter? Like he was there, he was watching you. Like why you're making it like Kurup or something? There was no need of that. That moment literally felt like they wanted to be cool. Oh, see, we did that cool thing at the end. You didn't see that coming. Of course, no one will see that coming. It makes no sense, honestly. So at the end, I would just say it was a mixed bag. Definitely could have been better. I was actually wondering while watching it, it could have been a web show also. But anyways, through channel membership, you can support this channel and help me continue this journey ahead. And in turn, you get various perks. To know more, click on the join button. For more information, check out the community page. So guys, that was the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, the thumbs up button, share this video in the comments, your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed yet, check out the videos if you like them too. Do subscribing and I'll see you next time.